So, rebranding. Well, rebranding is obviously a simple change of the storyline of something into something that actually defines its new purpose. But well, do I really think that rebranding is a really good idea? More specifically, rebranding yourself, is it really a good idea? Well, to me, I don't think it's more of rebranding. I think it's more of defining yourself, redefining, and actually going back to the drawing board of actually who you think you are, or who do you actually term yourself as, who do you actually see yourself as, and who do you actually take yourself for. Well, it's not rebranding is not actually changing from this, calm guy to actually this badass, charismatic person, as people term it as, or so-called Batman. But then I think of it more of a period where you actually find your true purpose, a period where you actually rewrite your own story into something more streamlined, not streamlined, into something more specified to you. You get, like, something more of you. It's not following other people's opinions, more following yourself, not following other people's dreams, but more of following yourself, your own dreams, and actually what you really think is actually right. So to me, I think this is obviously a journey I'd really want to do, not to actually change myself, but to actually make myself better 1% each and every day. And to do that, it's going to take just simple processes of actually changing how I think, not changing, actually modifying, improving how I think of things, how I take things more seriously, and how I actually understand things in accordance to my perspective, and actually considering another person's perspective and opinions and evaluating it in my own mind to see if it actually works out for me or not. Not all about not taking other people's advice or discovering your own path for your own self. I think it's more of taking other people's advice and taking your own advice into consideration, then bringing it onto a table to actually make yourself understand or choose the right path for it. You get? So I think that's how I should do it. That's how actually you should take, not you should, that's how you can take up this journey of actually making yourself better. Considering this year has been, well, it has been good and bad to me so far. I've not made clients at all through this quarter of the year, and it's really bad. I've not actually done the big things that I told myself I would do. I've not actually kept up to the script, but honestly, it's okay. We're all humans, and we actually all make, it's not mistakes, it's actually, we actually tend to live by the means we are actually given. You see, when writing your own goals and purpose, you never actually knew what you're going to come through with, you're going to come into contact with throughout the time. But then when you sit down and look back, you just see that most of the time you have actually changed because, well, something came up, a party, or like something you got interested in, or sometimes actually, which is more common, more distractions, which obviously invade most of us, and actually destroys not that and actually destroys that journey that we're on, and start inflicting other things that we actually think we should add on to our goals, yet we have not even accomplished the previous ones that we already set, adding on to a cup that is already full, which is not bad but not good at the very least. Because honestly, you already had your own defined dreams, and you already knew what steps to take. But then when you come to think of it, goals, it's not really about setting goals, it is about actually setting systems for them. You see, you can write your goal is to buy a Mercedes, but then you don't know how to actually get there. You just want to get a Mercedes this year out of the fucking blues, just like that. But then you don't really have a way of actually getting there. So how I see it is, you should actually set something like $10,000. That's the goal, right? You have this whole path that you want to go through to actually get to that $10,000 to buy your own, well, Mercedes. So what do? You actually set step one, what money you need to get in. Either it's in a business, or it's a different work, or it's investing, or it's in trading, or, well, of course, gambling. And of course, gambling, you have to actually look at the resources you actually need to get to point from point A to point B, which is point B being $10,000. So I think it's more about creating systems. It's not more about creating goals. You can create goals, but don't forget to create systems to actually actualize these goals. You see, it's more of you want to go to a picnic, but you don't know how to, so you have to set a system of when to wake up, where to go, what means of transport to use, and how much money will be used on that picnic. That's how I term it. And so, to me, I'd say I've been thinking about this, and I'll actually clearly define my goals or my setting goals as wealth, not physical or materialistic wealth quite yet, but then wealth of mind, wealth of spirit, and then wealth of, well, material coming last, but then not least at the same time. So, wealth of mind. You see, how people say you can lose all your money, but you can never lose all your skills. You can never lose what's in your mind. You can never lose wisdom. You can never lose knowledge. You see, I want, or actually, I think it's a good idea to actually work on your own mind. Actually, eliminate the negative factors that are actually inflicting the negative thoughts in your mind. Examples, well, negative content, negative videos, negative books, all that, and inflicting more positive content that actually aligns to your own goals, reading more helpful things. I'm not saying to stop reading more fictional things. Fictional things are actually enjoyable, they rest the mind and all that, but growing your mind will also need, you see, knowledge. For example, me, I need literacy, more literacy, when it comes to understanding how to articulate my language. You'd need to learn new things, example, new languages like, Chinese. Learn reading philosophy, reading reading philosophy, um experiencing just new things that actually grow the mind. Go to a library for one day, read some books about, Shakespeare or someone, um watch good movies that actually, help you out. And learning from other people too also works. Asking about your opinion on something, asking someone about their opinion on something that is actually inflicting your current situation also works. Learning from each other, building good relationships is also one of it that actually gives you wealth of the mind. You see, when you come to build good relationship with others, it actually helps you grow your understanding towards others externally, and the internal self, understanding what hurts them, what they actually defines them, or what's their take on certain things that you actually thought was so interesting. So actually finding wealth of mind is actually helpful, because growing knowledge, growing wisdom, and growing understanding is actually something you should really work on, specifically in this time where we actually tend to take things so lightly. So don't take things so lightly, and don't take things so seriously. Just, live in the moment of understanding that thing. Being that person that someone can actually come and talk to and actually say, yeah, that guy is fucking wise. That's actually what I really wanted to get. I've not been really the sanest of person, but I'm willing to actually work towards getting that kind of knowledge. Okay. And the second one was wealth in spirituality. You see, spirituality doesn't mean a specific or defined religion or anything. It's more about being aligned with your own purpose, being aligned with who you are, being aligned with what you feel is right or wrong, being aligned with actually, the tendency of living. Spirituality, the energy of living, having good and bright energy, having beautiful energy, a nice aura. And actually, in my space, I'm a Christian, so I'd say being in line with the teachings of God, you see, against lust, against, the seven deadly sins, of course, which, if you actually follow them, actually tends to be more helpful than actually ignoring them and saying that is so religiously weird or something. But following the seven deadly sins, going against the seven deadly sins, is actually more wiser and more helpful than actually thinking that it's this religious thing formed against enjoyment and all that. That's up to you. But well, wealth in spirituality is more being aligned to yourself, being aligned to my own purpose, to my own beliefs. You get. So actually standing up for my own beliefs, standing up for my own self, that's actually what I think about when it comes to wealth in spirituality. And lastly, wealth in material. Well, you see, we all want this cool watches, these cool cars, this cool house, this cool um all the cool stuff you get for the ladies. Oh, but for me, wealth in materialistic things, I'd say if I was asked, I really love old cars and all that. So I'd say I'd love to start a car collection or a watch collection or all that. But then that comes with time. And you see, wealth in materialism doesn't come really immediately. It actually comes in parts, in specs, forms, like quarter, half, three-quarter, full. Like it doesn't come all at once. You get, you'll always have the tendency to grow your wealth into something else. So one day I'll buy a Mercedes, the next I want a Volvo, the next I want a Lamborghini, all that. So I say my tendency of understanding materialism, much wealth in materialism, in materialistic stuff, is I won't get too attached to materialistic stuff, because when you get too attached to, well, materialistic gains, you actually will do anything to actually get them. Anything that is immoral or bad, or like it's just bad to the society or anything, you'll actually do it to actually get this form of material, which is actually so bad because you are so attached to a form of material that makes you do bad things. Let's say my wealth of materialism is more about not gaining so much materialistic things, but actually not being too attached to materialistic gains. If I have it, it's okay. If I don't have it, it's okay. And the world just doesn't make it so easy, because these days, if you don't have a car, if you don't have an iPhone, if you don't have this, if you don't have that, it's weird, it's off, you're not even meant to be in society, blah blah blah. But then honestly, just appreciate what you have at the current moment. You'll always increase 1% each and every day. One day you might have uh one one phone, which is an Android. The next you have a better Android phone, and it's okay. It actually gets better in the eventuality of everything. So I think the topic here wasn't really rebranding, was actually really repurposing myself and actually repurposing yourself. So I think we should more focus on repurposing than rebranding, because don't change all of you because you'll become so unrecognizable. Just improve yourself, which makes you, much, much better. So thank you. This was just a random episode I thought about. Thank you. Have a nice day.